Love to hear more about this. So Dirk, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you, Robert and Shannon, for giving us the opportunity. First of all, I feel so much among friends because my consciousness grows every day, still, day by day. And since I left high school, I felt like a pirate. And I lived in the Caribbean also, to live a real pirate life for several years. And also, my dissertation in America was about sustainability, Native American sustainability, so again, that relation. And networking, we are a bundle of energy. Humans are energies. We radiate, we send energy, and we absorb energy. So networking is really indeed a very important factor in life and how to achieve and how to have success. And I also quit something. You just heard, I didn't quit darts, but I quit as a CEO voluntarily because I had enough of making money only. Yes, that's strange, but it's possible. That's possible. Once you have everything, what can you do more? Just a bigger car and a bigger house and one more bigger? No, that was enough for me. So I was 52 and I just left the company. And they said, no, you cannot do that. I said, well, I can. And that kept me still one more year. But after that, I left. And yes, that's what I wanted to say before my speech started. Now let's start about universal force of the figure 8 flow. What's that all about?
The other way.
Yeah.
Oh.
This way.
Oh yes. We have to.
Oh.
It wasn't put on. Just real quick. See. It should be open in the other one. Perfect.
Yep.
There we go.
In color also. You said no color. Right?
Yeah, we just kept it on the other one to have the color.
Okay. Universal flow of the figure 8 flow. This is. Of course you know what it is. And actually, you used Joseph a key, so also I use a key, so that's our connection. Of course you know what it is, huh? You can open a door, you can open a cabinet, you can, whatever it's made for. What if I give you a key, which is not a physical key, which is access to information, which gives you another consciousness, actually more creativity, more stability, more empowerment in order to make better decisions. And even one more better decision every day can change your life completely. And that power is in yourself. What if I give you access to this information? Would you not like to have this?
Sure.
Yes?
Of course.
Actually, some 40 years ago, roughly, I was in the audience and I was listening to a professor, a retired professor, and he was not anymore lecturing, but he made a small note on the noteboard at the university. Do you want to know more about life, about who you are, about your being, about how you interact with your body, mind and soul, etc.? And there were only like 15 students. And that presentation of this professor, it was a 2-hour presentation, changed my life actually, until today. And it was all about the ancient mystery schools in Egypt. And not only Egypt, because these mystery schools were everywhere. And he showed me this picture of this. Maybe I have something. Let's see if it works. Yes. These ancient people, ancient civilizations knew so much more than we know today about how we actually interrelate our body, mind and soul. How we are working, what we are doing actually the whole day. And for instance, what is he wearing in his hand? Why does he have this on his head? Are these people stupid? They just made some picture? No, of course not. They knew exactly what they were doing. Here, what is he wearing? What kind of symbol is this? It's the god Hermes, Mercurius. And here you see two people, Lao Tzu and Jesus. And actually there's a famous book called The Parallel Sayings of Jesus and Lao Tzu. Complete different culture, complete different time frame. Lao Tzu lived 500 years before Jesus, but actually they said 95% the same source. That means there is a profound knowledge, there is a source which is universal, which you can get information from. We human people make laws, all kind of laws. Laws for traffic, that you cannot enter this street or whatever. And we make all kind of laws, economic laws, private law, international law. And there's also natural laws about nature. The famous Albert Schweitzer with his formula. But there is another law. This type of laws, the lost language of plants. This is one of my favorite writers, Bühler, an American writer. He writes about the heart, for instance, and about that everything is vibrating, from rocks to plants to universe, everything. And you see the aura. You heard about Plato, I think. Plato, we call it in English. And about the allegory of the cave. And he said actually that we are all living a low conscious state. We are actually prisoners of ourselves. We are imprisoned. It's like we are in a cave and we are just showing some projections and we think this is the reality. That's it. And then at a certain moment, one guy is leaving the cave and he's going outside. You can see it here. And he sees the real reality. He sees the real sun, the real tree, and real life. And he comes back, and of course he's not believed. He said, no. This is our life. This is reality. That's of course a big frustration for this guy. But anyhow, he got another reality. And this is actually what is happening. All civilizations knew much more about nature, and they were watching very carefully. My last study I did with Native American people in America, and I lived with them also, and they said, we have so much more knowledge to share, but we don't do it anymore. Because we shared so much information in the past, and it was taken by large multinational companies, and they just commercialized it. For instance, just to give you a sample, they said, of course we loved sex also, but we didn't have a pill or whatever, but we knew exactly which plant was there to not get pregnant. Just a simple thing, no synthetic medicine. And they know so much more about the universe, about how we are working, how we are living together. They could talk with animals. Of course, maybe some people laugh, impossible, impossible. Now with quantum mechanics, we find out that some things are possible. And you see also that there is some strange phenomena. That everything in the nature and the universe, look how this form, this shell, and this is a planet, hurricane, and galaxies, they all form the same flow. It's a spiral flow, a circle flow. And actually, what Crick and the other guy found out with our DNA, it's also a spiral in ourselves, in our cells. And look, the old famous symbol, which I just showed with Hermes, this god, Mercurius, who holds this symbol already 2,000 years before in his hands. People knew at that time that there is something. And this is actually the spine, it's your spine, and this is the flow. Because everywhere in the universe, there is a flow of yin and yang. The female magnetic yin and the male electric yang. And these come together, they flow everywhere, and they are also in your body. And look what's happening. You have heard about the 7 chakras we have. In fact, we have many more chakras, but the 7 main chakras we have. And this yin and yang flows around these chakras. And then, when they touch each other, there is a radiation coming. It's an energy flow coming, which creates a light and a color. And when you add all the lights, it becomes white. And that's all the stories about angels, because they have such a bright white light. They have this yin and yang flowing in their bodies. And this is also for us, because we have forgotten all this knowledge. There is so much power in us, so much potential which we can develop. And actually people who can see this, they say, well, basically only 10% of the people have just started to get to the 2nd level. So we have so much more potential. This is what all the old stories were about. what all the sages are telling us. And we are, in fact, like I just said, I started my presentation, with a bunch of energy around us. And you can feel that energy. I can feel it. I can feel energy of people also. You can develop that. Actually, we are a copy of the universe. The whole universe is in ourselves. We are just a small copy of it. Look what's happening. This is all our cells in our body. And you have clusters of cells, and even bigger clusters, and they form organs. They form your kidneys or your lungs, etc. And this is the universe, as you know, of course. It's just a smaller or a bigger copy from each other. And the sacred number 8 is this flow of yin and yang, which goes everywhere in the universe, but also in your own body. And it forms an 8 because it touches each other, and it is a creation. It gives light, and light, we found out with quantum mechanics, light is energy and information. Watch my words, information. So it's a form of knowledge, of consciousness, of awareness. And this 8, you can see in different cultures, is already for a long time something special. In Greek culture, it means justice and abundance. In Chinese culture, it stands for fortune. In Buddhism, it stands for illumination. In the Jewish culture, for holiness. So all excellent things, because this 8 is a form of the two yin and yang touching each other and then go their own way again. But because they are complementary forces, they are not opposing, but complements. They need each other. They always come back, and they create things. And when you put this 8 on a different level, you get the symbol of eternity. So you can see that it really means something. Here you have the yin and yang symbol as we know it. It's famous because in the female part, there is a male part, and in the male part is the female part. And that's also what Carl Jung, the famous psychoanalyst, has described, that every man has to develop his female part in himself, and every woman has to develop her male part. And then you get a more balance in your life. That's what our aim is in life, actually, to balance our own inner sense. And you can see here how these two forces, the yin force and the yang force, follow each other, and like snakes, because they crawl like snakes, that's why they're symbolized like a snake. Of course, it's not a snake, but it's a symbol. And why you see these two wings? Because whenever these two powerful forces come together in the highest level, the highest chakra, it releases your soul. Your soul is free. That's why you have the wings, like a bird, you're free. And here you see it again in your body, the two powers. And what's happening when you have reached that point, people were depicted with a halo, they call it. Already in the Middle Ages and before that, they were talking, there are even much more older sayings and scriptures that people could see other people having a halo. It's actually your own sun. So you create your own sun power, which gives you creativity, which gives you abundance, which gives you eternity, which gives you everything you can imagine. All that power is within yourself, because we don't know it anymore, and we think, wow, this is not possible, or this is just... No, it's in yourself. Here you see again why Egyptians many times showed their gods with this round symbol, because they have developed their sun. It was also the symbol of the pharaohs. And you see the pharaoh many times with a small snake coming from his head. And that means this snake force has developed within him or her. And now it's interesting to see this devilish person, because once this yin and yang are not touching each other and are not able to get connected, they leave again your body without connection, without forming this halo. And this is also the symbol of the devil, because these two forces are still within everybody, but not anymore connecting. That's why always the devil is depicted already for thousands of years with two horns, let's say, not connecting. Learn from the sacred knowledge, because actually, since the 17th century, the Enlightenment, which I studied history, I call it the dark times, because dark times started with Enlightenment, in my case. That's what I believe. Because then there were some philosophers like Descartes, Bacon, Francis Bacon, Leibniz, and many other philosophers who started to say, no, 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 body and soul are completely separate from each other. No, no, no. Intuition, you cannot feel that, you cannot see that, you cannot touch that. That's not existing. And dualism started. That was the time when dualism started, and which is actually going on now also. And fragmentation. But we have to go back to oneness and wholeness, because these two forces are, again, like I said several times, they are not opposing, but they are complementing forces. So it's oneness and wholeness. We live in a society where hierarchy is very important, and competition, ultimate competition. I am bigger than you, you are bigger than his, etc. And we have to compete, and we have to fight with each other. And Europe has to fight because we have to be better than China, and China says no, etc. This, we have to give up that type of thinking, because it's a dead-end street. Yes, you can develop something for a certain moment and a certain time, but finally it's a linear way. And linear way is not natural. All nature is round, in circles. So we are all autonomous beings. Everybody is autonomous. There is no hierarchy. I'm not higher than anybody else, or you are not higher than me, etc. We are all have this power in ourselves. And we need to cooperate. When we cooperate, so much more possible. Many times people who are saying, well, I'm a spiritual person or whatever, and let's say I'm looking for a word, but I don't spend so much time for my body or for materialism. No, it's wrong. It's both. You have to equalize the two, spirit and matter. It's not like spirit and forget matter, or the other way around. And then we can create our own halo of enlightenment and get more creativity, more abundance, stable situation, better decision making, more happy, and there's a better world. Thank you very much.